Hello everyone! Now some of you may have already seen this video, but I thought it wouldn't hurt posting it here. This is from the Address the Council segment of the Star Wars podcast, Jedi Council, where I got to float a question to the panel and audience. I've linked the full episode below, it's well worth checking out. Alright, I'm off to prepare for my Star Wars Rogue One trailer breakdown, so come back for that if you want. And now allow me to take over. How do you transition to yourself? Awkwardly, I guess. There's a whole lot of Star Wars new media that's been churned out over the last couple of years. We got a TV show, video games, comic books, regular books. What is this? Fun in and out of the pool? I'm not so sure these are for kids. Anyways, the eras that these have spanned have largely focused on the prequels right up to episode 7, with a real emphasis on just before A New Hope and after. There is, however, a very significant period of time that's barely been utilised. Now, a year ago I would have said this was after Return of the Jedi, which I can completely understand, as if you revealed too much of that, a lot of The Force Awakens would have been spoiled. Also, those gaps are slowly being filled in. But what I'm talking about is the time between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, which to me is one of the most significant eras among the various Star Wars that have been going on. Han Solo was potentially gone forever. The rebels were licking their wounds after getting their ass kicked at the Battle of Hoth. Luke Skywalker was reevaluating everything he thought to be true after his confrontation with Darth Vader, and Yoda was, I don't know, probably making some terrible stew and worrying that the ghost of Kenobi was watching him shower, which he almost certainly was. Now, in the old canon, this period was characterized by a few things of note. Most prominently, Shadows of the Empire. This was a massive campaign that was like an official Star Wars film was being released, but without the actual movie. It encompassed what I believe to be one of the best Star Wars Legends books, a solid comic book run, and a video game that everyone thinks is really great, but really it's just the first part where you're in the snowspeeder that's pretty good, and the rest is kind of balls. It also introduced us to Prince Shizor, or Zizor. How do you say it? I don't know. The Black Sun crime lord, third only in power and influence in the galaxy to the Emperor and Vader. Also, we got Guri, one of the only existing human replica droids, and Dash Rendar, who's... well, look, there was no Han Solo because Han Solo was frozen, so yeah, he's just Han Solo. And he's gracious enough to die just in time for Han Solo to return in Return of the Jedi. But spoiler alert, he's not really dead, he faked his death, but hey, that's no longer canon, so he is dead in the sense that he now never existed, except his ship, the Outrider, was seen in the 1997 special edition of Star Wars, so... what am I doing? Right, yeah, so the question is, why has Disney and Lucasfilm been so reluctant to fill in this gap now that it's wide open? This indicates to me that they have something very particular planned. But what is it? Well, I'll tell you this much. I have no idea. It could be that visceral Star Wars game that looks to be set during the original trilogy. The little we know of that game could easily fit into that timeline. Or maybe it's something the Star Wars comics will be slowly getting around to. But maybe it's something a little more cinematic. Perhaps if Rogue One does well, its sequel could fit right in there. The ragtag team is forced out of retirement for one last job to steal the Death Star plans again. Of course, the Emperor allowed the rebels to get those plans, so that movie could just end with him emailing them to Mon Mothma. One of the story points from Shadows of the Empire follows Boba Fett delivering Han Solo to Jabba the Hutt, whilst at the same time fending off a plethora of other bounty hunters. Now that's the kind of thing that I'd love to see if Disney insisted on a standalone Boba Fett film, because if you look at him now, just cinematically, he's not that great. He's kind of the Mr. Magoo of the Star Wars universe. And yeah, maybe this would work better as a Netflix series. It's all up in the air. Here's a question though for those following along at home and the council. So Christian, John, casually leaning Han Solo figurine, TV screen with Forrest Whitaker, guy who some people think is Snoke but definitely won't be Snoke. Do you think that Disney and Lucasfilm have been intentionally leaving the gap between Empire and Jedi alone? And if you had to fill it with something, what would you like it to be? Because at the moment we've got, I don't even know, like a young adult novel that promises an adventure of Princess Leia and a video game called Yoda's Jedi Training. And check this out, I'm playing it right now! Look at me go! I'm dead. Also, before I go, quick shout out to Christian's brother for recommending me for Jedi Council. I appreciate it very much. I don't know what you look like, but when I close my eyes and picture you, I see Christian with a top hat and monocle. And that's very classy. Thanks everyone. Enjoy the rest of the show.